What is up, class? Mr. Odell is back with episode 2 of The Teaching Machine. Now, I am a little tired because I just came from baseball practice because all my students know that I play baseball. But we're going to hang in together and get through this because I need to teach you fractions because that's my job. Now, I know in my last video I made a mistake in one of the fractions I labeled to you guys. So I just wanted to let you know that it's okay to make mistakes because everyone makes mistakes, even the greatest. Teachers, celebrities, everyone makes mistakes. So it's okay to make mistakes. You just have to be able to bounce back and do it correctly the next time. So let's move on to our lesson now. Now for this lesson we're going to be adding fractions with like denominators. Now we did this in lesson 1, so it's basically the same, but on this lesson I want to focus more on word problems. The only thing I want to highlight is what's in this box right here. So when adding fractions with like denominators, you're adding portions of the same size, so you can add the numerators without changing the denominator. So I'll repeat it again. When adding fractions with like denominators, 2/4 plus 1/4 plus 3/4, you are adding portions of the same size. See how they're the same size? They both are over 4. So you can add the numerators without changing the denominator. So as you can see, like I just showed, they have the same denominator, so they're the same size, so we can add with our numerators. Let's move on to our chalkboard that I put in here, and let's practice, get the color white, and let's practice a problem. So we have 2/12 plus 6/12. That equals 2 plus 6 is 8/12. Now, we see our answer 8/12, and we know we have to simplify and make it smaller. So let's list our factors of 8. We have 1, 2, 4, and 8. Then we have our factors of 12. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. Now, we're going to look at both groups of factors and see which is our greatest factor between both groups. So 1 and 2 are both in there, but 4 is our greatest factor. So we know we have to circle 4. 8 divided by 4 equals 2. 12 divided by 4 equals 3. So our final answer would be 2/3. Now that's just a quick review of what we did in lesson 1. So now we're going to move on to our word problems, which are a little more challenging. Why is this in here? Uh-oh. Know what that is. Get that out of there. Okay, so we have this chart. So using this survey, which is the chart I have drawn out here, what fraction of the class chose either roller skating or biking? So using this chart, we have to label a fraction in the class that chose either roller skating or biking. So I couldn't find the roller skate out of our little emojis, so I decided to change to an ice skate, but we'll make it the same thing. So we have to find what fraction of the class chose either roller skating or biking. So we have roller skating is 2/12, which is right here, on biking, which is 4/12. So what we're going to do is we're going to add them together. We're going to get 6/12. Now, we see this fraction and we know that we can simplify it. So we have 6 and 12. It's just our factors of 6. We have 1, 2, 3, 6. Then our factors of 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 12. Greatest common factor between both groups. We see our 6. So we divide by 6. 12 divided by 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1. 12 divided by 6 is 2. So let me go back to blue. Go back to blue. Our final answer is 1/2. So what fraction of the class chose either roller skating or biking? We found out 1/2 chose either roller skating, which we're going to change to ice skating for this problem, or biking. So that's how we solved that problem. We found how many have chose roller skating or ice skating, and then we have how many chose biking, and we add them together and simplify our fraction to give us our answer. Now we're going to move on to another problem. So we have to find the perimeter of this square. So if a side of a square is 1/2 foot long, what is the perimeter of the square? So perimeter, labeled right here, is the distance around the outside of any polygon. So we have to find the distance around the outside, the whole outside of this square. We have to find the distance. So what we're going to do is, it's 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, 1/2. So to find the distance around the whole polygon, which is our square, we have to add all of our fractions. So let me unclear that. Boom, 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 boom. So we're going to add 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2. Now, if we just look at our first 1/2 plus 1/2, we know it's 1 plus 1. That gives us 2/2. Now, when we have the same amount in the numerator and denominator, that gives us 1/2. So, since we split up that half of the fractions, we're going to look up at this half of the fractions, and this gives us 1 as well. So what we can do now is we'll erase this. And we know our first group of fractions that were halves gave us 1/2. Then we know our other set of fractions that were halves gave us another whole. So 1 plus 1 would equal 2 feet. Now what I did is I added 1/2 and 1/2 as one group and got 1. Then I added 1/2 and 1/2 again as another group and got 1 again. And that gave me my final answer of 2 feet. So make sure when we're finding perimeter, we find the distance around the outside of any polygon. So it's distance around. Area, which we'll learn later, I will go over, is what's inside the square. But we don't have to worry about that now. We'll worry about that when it comes along. So now I want to go over some problems about finding the missing number. So we have 4 9 plus blank over 9 equals 8/9. So simply, for all these problems, we know the denominators are the same. So all we have to do is add the numerators. So we know 4 plus blank equals 8. So 4 plus 4 gives us 8. Then we have blank plus 3 equals 9. So we know 6 plus 3 equals 9. Then we know blank plus 2 plus blank equals 5. So 2 plus 3 would give us 5. And 4 plus blank equals 7. So we know 4 plus 3 equals 7. These are basic problems, but I just want you to know when you're figuring out these problems, if the denominators are already the same, we just have to look in the numerator like I did for all of these problems. We just have to find the missing number. So that's basic subtraction if you want to subtract to find a number, or addition. We have to just find the missing number. Lastly, we're going to go over one more problem. So Jimmy and Bob are working on a presentation. Jim completes 2/10 on Monday and 3/10 on Tuesday. Bob completes 2/10 on Wednesday and 2/10 on Friday. Is the project complete? Explain. So this problem looks big already. I know all of us are thinking, oh, I'm not going to be able to solve this. But let's go through it together. So we're going to circle our numbers. So underline our question. So is the project complete? Any action words? Let's see. Jim and Bob are working on a presentation. Jim completes 2/10 on Monday and 3/10 on Tuesday. Bob completes 2/10 on Wednesday and 2/10 on Friday. Remember Miss Jones said when we see the word and, we think of our operation of addition. So we know right away when we're for this problem, we have to add all these fractions together. Now, it says is the project complete. So in order for the project to be complete, the numerator, when we add them all up, would either have to equal 10 or be more than 10, because 10 is our whole, and that would be the whole project. So let's go on the next slide. Oh, that's our cool Fortnite ending I'm going to end on. We have 2/10 plus 3/10 plus 2/10 plus 2/10. Now when we add all our numerators all together, 2 plus 3 is 5/10, plus 2 plus 2 is 4/10. That gives us 9/10. Now our question was, is the project complete? Now if we look at our numerator, we see that we're missing one more to get to our whole. So unfortunately, the project would not be complete because the number in the numerator is not equal 10, or is not more than 10. So in your explanation, you can say that you went through the cubes method, you figured out you need to add from finding our action words. Then when we added all our fractions together, we realized that our numerator was less than 10, which is our whole, and in order for the project to be complete, it would need to be 10 out of 10 or more than 10. So then we can explain our explanation. We can use our numbers, we can use words, symbols like I explained before. Make sure it's simple, make sure it's correct, and make sure it's easy to understand. So there's some basic word problems I went over today that we can go through. And the keys to these word problems is to have confidence, because I know many of you do not have confidence when it comes to fractions and word problems. But just look at my channel, it can help you. And this is my biggest asset to you guys, is having this channel, because I know you guys will enjoy it. At the end, I just wanted to label this picture because I want you guys to know that you can have fun in the classroom and enjoy your time in the classroom. So think of it like Fortnite. When the guys jump out of the battle bus, think of you jumping out of that battle bus, getting your good grade. That's why I wanted to end on this. So I will see you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed episode 2. And I will see you for episode 3 coming this weekend. Peace out, guys.